Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Mannino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Mannino, and welcome to Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, on how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful island of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, we got Alex Rodriguez from XPC Drones, and he does waterproof drones, which I'm a drone connoisseur, and I've never seen a waterproof drone. Please explain.
Yeah, thank you for that intro, Michael. The drones, they have to be able to operate in water, right? On water and over water. And you have a drone, you're a drone connoisseur.
I don't put it near water. I don't put it near water.
Exactly. How do you feel when you're flying that drone close to water or near water? We've all seen the videos. We've all seen what happens.
Feeling because it's $1,400 out the window.
Doesn't make any sense, right? Earth is covered, and 70% of Earth is water. So it doesn't make any sense that a drone is not able to operate on water, like literally on water, land on water, like XPC does, or over water, right? And so that's what we are working on. That has to be a thing that gets fixed, and we've actually fixed it.
Really? So, well, do me a favor. After I ask the question, tell me a little bit about where you're at in your company and how you got to where you're at. But what is the secret to waterproofing drones? Because it's blades, and you've got little fissures. You got little parts to get into the mechanicals. I don't know how you do that. What is the secret of that?
It's extremely hard. Hard. So I started in drones back in 2011. But before that, we were building drones kind of underground, and getting parts and replacement cameras was very hard. And so in 2011, I opened my first company, Urban Drones, to solve that problem. And then, but we were crashing in the water here in South Florida all the time, myself, my friends. And so in 2015, I set out to solve that problem. I found a partner overseas, and we launched the first ever waterproof company. I put it on Kickstarter. We did well. I quit my job. I cashed out my 401k because I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been. 5 years later, that relationship didn't go well. They're overseas. They have a way that they operate, a way of thinking. And so in 2023, I actually sold everything. I moved to China to develop everything from the ground up. And so it took me a year. And then I came back. I launched the company, the new company, XPC. And now we're here. To answer your original question, how we make them waterproof, it's extremely hard to make them waterproof because the flight controller has to be able to breathe. And what I mean by that is that when you make something IP67 waterproof, meaning that it's completely locked, water or dust or air cannot get in, you develop a different pressure from the internal pressure, and the external pressure is different. And the flight controller goes crazy when you do that. So we have a way to make the external and internal pressure equal without water getting in. And so that's how we were able to do that.
I would suggest patenting that. I'm dead serious.
We're protected.
A feat in itself. Good. You're good. Because I know a little bit about engineering, and the blades turning have mechanical parts going to the motor, and the motor going to obviously the wires going to the operating system, correct?
Mm. Right. You have a motor.
How do you pressurize that? How do you not? That seems very, very. How long did it take you to do it? Let's go that route.
Originally, it took us like a year and a half, almost 2 years. This back in the first one. This time around, I already know how to do it. So the reason why I moved to China to do this is because, in Shenzhen, China, that's where electronics are made, specifically, and also drones. And so I could have done it from here. It would have taken me 3 years. But being there, it took me one. It actually took me less than one to complete everything. What was the question again?
basically answered it. How did you get it from start to finish in such a short amount of time? That's a
Okay.
tough feat. It's a
Yeah.
tough feat to do.
Yeah.
And you did it. You did it once before, but how did you do it now? And you said you just did it by moving there. And that
Right.
was a great
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to move in 2020, 2019, 2020, but then I was about to, and then COVID hit. So I had to wait. And then 2023, I was finally able to do that.
Okay. Well, what is it like? So we do, I'm from Michigan, so we build a lot of cars there and we deal with a lot of Chinese manufacturers too. What was the language barrier and difficulty level of getting something made in China?
Very hard, but I actually just I'm on a mission. I learned.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I speak Chinese, but I
No.
learned enough to not go hungry. Today we can do anything, right? I
Yeah.
have in my pocket. I have a translator, right?
Hmm.
There are no excuses. Like I can't use that as an excuse.
Well,
But
you
yeah,
could, but you
it is an
didn't.
issue. It is an issue because let me tell you a little bit about the translation. I hired a translator a couple times when I was there, and it's so frustrating because what I want them to do is to translate. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to understand and then explain. So I am speaking through their understanding and getting information through their understanding. One of the times I actually got a little bit upset. I was like, I'm not paying you to understand. I don't want you to understand. Just whatever words they say, you translate that. You let me understand. But yeah, it's
Did they
very
finally get it? Because
no,
that's a tough gig too.
no, no.
I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough. But today with AI translators, it's I have a friend there that has a translator company. It's actually a hardware company, just like this. It's a headphone like this, and I use his tool a lot to be able to communicate.
That's probably the best idea I've seen a couple of those things. You put a earbud in there and then you talk and then it translates and does you don't have an interpreter to interpret,
Right.
just translate. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so when did you launch? When did you launch? You did the production a couple of years ago and then you started launch in the
Yes.
United States or the
Yes.
United States or worldwide?
Worldwide. So 2024, we were done with all the big parts. Everything was pretty much done. Prototype, we were ready for production. I moved back to the US, had to buy a house again and all that. We are as every product, there are a bunch of different markets that you can hit, right? But first, you got to choose one and take that one. And we decided that was the fishing market. Drone fishing is something that we kind of invented like back in 2018, 2017. And so I chose to go in that market because I know that market. We kind of created that market. And so the first thing that I did when I flew back, I entered the drone in ICAST. It's the largest fishing organization in the US. And that year in 2024, before we even launched, we won Best Electronic Product of the Year. Because,
Well,
it's a
yeah,
fishing,
you're
yeah,
well,
it's a fishing drone.
you got to tell people, I've seen this before and I enjoy it. So you got to tell people what it does. So in a layman's term, it's not like you take the reel out and drop it. You look where the fish are and drop it in front of them. Is that true?
Great. Let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
this is how the fishing drone works, right?
Okay.
You have a fishing drone. You have a drone that is waterproof. It can float on the water. While it floats, it can see underwater, and then it can take off and lift a payload of up to 7 pounds, right? The way that you fish with it, you put your bait under the drone. Instead of casting it 50 or 75 feet, you're now being able to drop that bait 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet offshore from the
How
beach.
much can a how much can a reel hold? How much can a reel hold?
It depends. It depends on what you're trying to catch. A lot of people are using it for shark fishing. They're dropping bait at 500 feet, 700 feet,
Wow.
1,000 feet,
Wow. Wow.
right? So then you drop the bait, you press a button on the remote control. The remote control is also waterproof and floats. And then the drone automatically comes back and lands. Now you have your line out there with a big bait. And that's how the drone, that's
So
basically how drone fishing is done.
does the drone let go of the line?
Yes.
It can let go or can keep it on there?
No, you have to let go. So
Okay.
there's a button on the remote control that releases the bait. So you're here on shore at the beach. You put the bait under the drone. Drone takes off, goes out 1,000 feet. You flip a switch, drop the bait. Now the drone comes back, lands, and now your bait is out there. So it's a caster. You're casting your bait.
Yeah, but
The
you're
drone is
casting it
not going
farther than
to.
you casting your line farther than you could ever cast it any other way.
Correct.
And
You are.
and can you see the fish that are around? You drop it in front of them.
You can. It's not, people don't really do that because then you would have to go like hunting, not even hunting, but like looking. You can do that. You can do that. If, let's say, if you're fishing at the beach and you're fishing for tarpon, you can do that. If it's the mullet run, I mean, if
What
you,
about sharks? You said sharks, and that's big on sharks. A friend of mine shark fishes, and he says he said he saw your company doing that, and he
yeah,
lives. God, where does he live? Venice, so by
okay,
you.
Venice, Rhoda,
Yeah,
Venice Beach, yeah.
and
We have
and he
customers there.
loves. Yeah, and he's seen some of your customers, and this is kind of cool. I get to tell him. I'm going to call him after this and say, "Hey, dude, I actually met the guy that built it." he's gonna
Yeah, yeah.
he's
It'd
gonna
be
flip a
awesome.
little
Yeah,
bit.
so that you can't really, sharks rarely are on the surface. Rare. Sharks usually, they're in the middle or the bottom. So the way that you normally go shark fishing is you take a big piece of bait, 3 to 5 pounds, drop the bait 1,000 feet out, where it's probably 40, 50 feet deep. The drone comes back, and then you soak the bait. Could be a half hour, could be half day, could be 3 hours.
I've seen your videos of people that drop it in front of the sharks. It just happened to be a shark there at that time. You can't really
Very
pick your
rare.
time, but once, yeah, blind squirrel catches a nut once in a while,
Yeah.
and
Extremely rare.
the shark saw the splash and just went right after it. It was perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Cool concept, and your determination is probably your greatest attribute to move out of the States into China.
Yeah. Very hard.
That's
Very lonely. Hard. Different
there's
food, different culture. I like to travel
probably,
though, so
yeah, but I'm sure you like to speak. I've traveled too. The one thing I love about the United States is the variety. And so when I went to Italy or I went to Japan, there's only Italian food and Japanese food. So they don't
yeah.
really, you missed the variety while you were there.
I did. I did. It was tough. It was tough because it's very lonely when you're building a company. I mean, building a company in general is very lonely, but building a company outside of your home, outside of your family, outside, it's a little, but it's, you concentrate on the mission. You just concentrate on the mission. This is the mission that I've been on for 10 years now,
Nice.
longer than that. And now I thought that the drone sector was like exploding, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Oh, I was wrong. It is now really taking off because what has happened, the US finally figured out that drones are, they are very, very important in so many different aspects, in industry, in defense, in surveillance, and so
Fishing.
they are now trying to bring manufacturing back. We're bringing manufacturing back to the US. We're actually doing that. We're bringing our manufacturing back to the
Nice.
US. Yeah, we're working on that to make drones for all the different sectors. So
Nice.
today, our customer is the fishing customer. That's only one use, right? So think oil and gas, inspection, surveillance, flying, being able to fly in the rain, defense, the power grid, and on and on and on.
Yeah, your options are limitless.
Yeah, right now we're talking to several municipalities because one of our goals is to equip every single lifeguard station in the country with a waterproof drone, right? Because if you have a swimmer in distress, let's say 500 yards out, it'll take that lifeguard, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes to get to that person. And the lifeguard himself is in danger. With a drone that is waterproof, you're looking at what, 30 seconds at most. So
Yeah.
you
And
go
you drop,
out.
you get, how much is one of those, what do you call them? Life preservers weigh?
They're not even 2 pounds. So we pick them up
Really?
like with no problem. Yeah. We did a demo and they were like, oh my God, this is
Blown
the
away.
best thing next to, bread and butter. Because they have drones, but the drones that they have are $25,000 from another company. And they did a like a rig under it, but nobody wants to fly it. Nobody wants to be the guy to fly a $25,000 piece of equipment over water. Our drone is very affordable. So the way that I tell people, like Lifeguard guys, is look, go drop the flotation device and then go get that swimmer. If the drone runs out of battery, it automatically comes back. If it's too far, it'll land on the water. The worst that
So
can happen is that you have to wait a few hours for that drone to roll back for the waves to bring back the drone.
you can go out,
No
you
big
can go
deal.
out and get it. You can swim and get it. Because
Right.
if someone's out that far, you can probably get out to them. And
Right.
then they have jet skis and stuff like that too, right?
It's obvious. I mean, in a few years, what I'm hoping is that this is a standard piece of equipment on at every
On
lifeguard.
every beach. That's
Like
a great idea.
it's obvious, right? I mean, to me today, this is obvious. I'm trying to make it obvious for everybody. Like obvious.
Well, if you've got somebody that's got a $25,000 drone, then you just be like, hey, mine's cheaper. And you'll want to operate it. You know
Right.
what I mean? Nobody wants
Yeah.
to operate the $25,000 one.
Yeah.
It might be a
And a
one-time use.
$25,000 drone is what they're trying to do with those drones. They are a Swiss knife, right? They have all kinds of sensors and features, and
That you don't
because
need.
they're trying to do everything with one tool, right? Our tool, we are doing one job, right? Like everything else, when you're a specialist, you're better at that one thing than everybody else. Sure, you might not be good at that or that, but at the one thing that you concentrate on, you are the absolute best. And that's what we're doing.
Nice. Nice. So if somebody listening on the podcast wants to get better at what you do, building, you could say just building companies too, what would you suggest to them? What tips and tricks would you give them?
We live in the best time ever. I can get a hold of any information that I want. I don't like there are no gatekeepers. If I want to learn about finance, get a book. If you are not a good reader, you don't have time to read, audible.com. You can listen to the information while you drive. There are podcasts like yours. There are
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos. The information, it's out there. If you want it, and now with AI, you can actually tell AI to give you the information the way that you learn, because now we know we all learn in different ways. So, I mean, there are no excuses. If you want to learn something, just go get it. Like literally right now, stop, go ask ChatGPT or Claude, make me a course on how to build a website.
Learn anything.
I mean, it's there. There are no excuses anymore. You can't use any excuse anymore. So that's it. Just when you want to learn something, just go learn it.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I've been using YouTube, um, Google, and I hate to say it, YouTube, I'm a visual learner. So you
So
show
am
me
I.
one time, I'm all done. I already got it. So that's where I use the most. And you could, like you said, you can tell Claude or ChatGPT, give me a video on this, make a video on this. You can make a
Yeah.
video on how to teach me on this.
It's
And then
crazy.
it'll learn how you can learn fast.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great idea.
I think that universities, and we can debate this all day long. I think that school in general, uh, it's obsolete. It's very obsolete. High school, they didn't teach me what's a checking account, right? Like, how do you open a bank account? How do you buy a house? They didn't teach me that. And that's like operating system level information that they're not teaching. So
So
it's an obsolete
here's
system.
so we do multifamily investing. And when I talk to some people, I ask them, have you ever taken a class on investing in school? And these are people that are doctorates. I got a friend of mine who's going for his doctorate. And he goes, no, I've taken business classes. I've taken what do you call it, where you're the business management or the financing classes. But I've never taken a class on investing. I go, what are you going to do with your money if you don't know how to invest it? You're going to spend it, right? And he goes, yeah. I go, do you think that the design of the school, that was an accident? And he goes, oh gosh, I think you're right. They wanted to do it on purpose.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, like
school,
you said,
it has its place. If you go back, if you look at the history, it's an employee factory, right? Because we need employees. Like we need people that know how to do this, know how to do that, and that's what it is. It's an employee factory, but it's
I agree
not.
with you hard.
It's not for like it's not for you to do
Entrepreneurs.
exactly what you want. It's for you to be useful for society in general, but not. It's for society, but it's not for you individually.
It's not for entrepreneurs,
Definitely not.
right?
I had a hard time
Because
in school.
dude, nobody had a harder time than me. Nobody had a harder time than
I
me.
don't know how I graduated, Michael. I have no
They
idea.
they threw the
I don't
diploma at
know.
me and said, "Get out." And I
Yeah, yeah,
said, "Bet."
yeah.
So my teachers are all great people. I'm not saying anything wrong with the teaching. It's that the teachers are bound by the school district rules and regulations on how to teach. I had a friend of mine that was a teacher, and she said, I had to explain the universe to kids through a book. And I'm like, how'd you do it? She goes, I put a 5-minute video up and they all got it in 5 minutes. I'm like, but the school district wants it done by this.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. And like you said, I think it's changing. I think it's getting better, but I agree with you 1,000%. It needs to be fixed, and it needs to teach people how they like to be taught, how they need to be taught.
Just that alone. I have a hard time reading. I'm not a good reader. I wouldn't read out loud. It's embarrassing.
But
That hasn't
do you
stopped me
know do
from
you know
learning
why
all the
you're
things
like
that
do you know why you're like that? I learned this. I'm the same way. I went to special education in school, and you know why?
No.
Because the English language is so messed up. We don't like, our brains are probably, you're a good engineer, right? Engineering mentality. You understand parts.
Self-taught drone engineer. Like I can build a drone from idea to flying.
The concept flying. Yeah, there you go. That's not easy. Not everybody can do that. And the way we think is compartmentalized. The problem with the English language is the spelling is all off. Like, as an engineer mentality, if fly was FLI, flying would be FLING, right? But it's FLY. It's FLI, and then you change the Y to an I and add NG. So it doesn't make sense. Everything comb, bomb, no, bomb. Put a C in front of the comb, or a BOMB. You change the B to a C. It's comb. No, it's comb. It just doesn't make sense, and we can't wrap our brain around that concept.
Yeah.
But,
and it's also it's just different. Everybody's different. School, like the way that I learned is not the way that you learn, and not the way that other people listening
not
to
the way
this.
they teach. We don't
Right.
learn the way they teach.
Exactly.
And we were getting graded on a fish's ability to climb a tree. Think about that. We were graded
wow.
on a fish's idea, or the fish's ability to climb a tree. But a fish being a
I
fish.
like that. I like that analogy.
I just got that recently, and it made perfect sense to people like us. And what I've noticed is most of us are pretty successful in the one thing we don't do is follow orders. We're not.
Oh my God.
We're really. And someone tells me I can't do something. What do you do?
Yeah.
Exactly what they said I can't
That's
do.
like,
right?
don't do that to me.
Right.
Just don't do that to me.
No,
Like
go
this,
ahead.
what I'm doing right now.
I'll show you wrong.
I can't even tell you how many people. Waterproof drone first. Like now
right.
we're
I could imagine
we're in the market meeting investors because we're growing like at 100% this year from last year, and we need investors to do what we need to do. And so many people, that's not really a problem, dude. What are you talking about? Of course it's a problem.
Solved.
And here are the numbers to show you, right? And number two is like, we don't know how big the market is. Well, here's how big the market is. So that every no gets me so excited. Oh my God, I can't wait to X amount of months and I can send this person an email, not in a negative way, but to show them, hey, look, here's proof, right?
You're
It's
just educating.
you say no to me, and it's like, you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing.
Fuel.
Yeah, it's
You say
fuel.
no, it's fuel.
It is.
Yeah, and then you just educate them. Well, it's not a big enough market. Well, here's the market share. Here's where we're at in the
Right,
markets. It's
right,
under
right,
7% of the market.
right.
I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this doesn't work. Well, it's been working for so many years, and
Yeah.
here we got,
The,
got independent testing.
something that I doing my pitch deck yesterday, I kind of came up with this like realization to explain it. It's, and other people have said it. I've listened to this in other books, but yesterday kind of hit me. It's, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. And so everyone is, not everyone, but people have asked me, well, yeah, the drone market is $8.59 billion, but how big is the waterproof drone market? Well, they don't know. Everyone buying drones in the private sector, they're not even thinking about their drone being waterproof, because it's
Well,
not even a, it's
until
not
I
even
met
an
you, I didn't think it
option.
was possible.
It's not even an option. So they're
Like,
not even asking. It's not even in their, like, it's not even in their minds. So what, with the way that I'm phrasing this is, when Steve Jobs came out with a, if he asked people, okay, how many people want a phone without a keyboard? I don't know. How big is that market? I don't know. That
it would have
market is
been nothing
zero.
at the time,
Well,
right? Would
when
have been
he
nothing at the
created
time.
it, the market, it became the market. Like, that was the market. So I see a world where I know we're going to have a lot of competitors, because once they figure out that, why would I buy a drone for the same price, the same capabilities? One is waterproof, one is not. It just doesn't make any sense to
Mm-mm.
not get one that isn't waterproof when the capabilities are the same. So,
It doesn't make any sense. And like you said, you said something to me. Have you ever operated your drone over water? I go, yeah. I just realized at one time we were on a boat, and here's the problem with that: you took off from the back of the boat, and the boat moves away, and then the drone has the memory of going back onto nothing at that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
that was terrifying for me.
yeah,
And then it
yeah.
can't land because the boat's moving. Yeah, yours would have been just drop in the water, go up to it. It would have been perfect.
Actually, for boaters, that's what we tell them. Don't land on the boat. That's dangerous. Land on the
Right.
water and use the gas to just get the drone from the water.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did it. And what is your sales like right now? I mean, you said you're 100xing this year.
Right, right. So on year one, we don't publicly say the amount, but
Yeah.
we're healthy seven figures on year one, and we are growing at 100% rate this year.
Bravo.
Um, yeah,
Bravo. And you can order them online. You got a website?
we ship every day. We ship every day. You go to xpc.com, you can purchase it there, and we ship to you free shipping. If you're in Florida, it's free next day shipping. If you're in the southeast, it's if you're in the southeast, it's second day free. Florida, next day free. Texas and all the other states, 3 day free shipping.
Nice. That's beautiful. Sounds like
And
things are going pretty. Go ahead.
this part I want to say, because I think that one of the reasons why we've been successful on year one is because and this is something I tell the team every day, our service is part of the product, right? So when you open a box, you see the product, but there's something that you don't see, is the customer service and the warranty, and that is part of the product, right? That is in there. You don't see it, but it's in there. That's why we have 4.9 rating from our users.
Nice.
4.9 out of
That is.
5 stars. It's like,
Are you the
and
only drone manufacturer that's got that? I don't think there is a drone manufacturer that has anywhere near 4.9.
I'm not sure. I haven't
I would
checked.
check that out, and you might be able to say I'm the only one.
I
Think about
will. I'll
that.
look into that.
Yeah, check out. A lot of them are good, but then there's always problems, and it's always the
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
The drones do what the drones do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not an
Oh,
easy hardware to build. I can tell you that. It's
no.
very, very hard, very complicated, it's, you have an electronic, their electronics are already, they have their failure rate, but now you have an electronic that flies in the air and an operator that might have never used it. So, I mean, You have what in aviation, what they call like a Swiss cheese event, where it's just hole after hole after hole. We're operating in that environment. So, we deal with it.
Human error, you can't stop. But you do have like return to home, right? So you can
Yes.
eliminate a lot of the problems.
Yes. And it's a very, very dumb-proof drone. We don't have an app, so there's nothing to download. You'll never turn the drone on and say, "Oh, wait, you can't fly. You have to update." We don't have that. All right.
Good.
You turn it on, 30 seconds, you go fly. You have up, down, left, right, return to home. 3 flight modes, slow, medium, high. That's it. Like, it's a
Nice.
drone for you to fly, not to have to figure out how to. You've used other drones before. They want to do everything. We want to do one thing, and we want to do it better than everybody else.
Well, you are if you're doing it like that. I had my drone, and the level of bureaucracy I had to go through. My son had a real estate event in Key West, Florida, and I just wanted to take video of it. And I had the drone, and it wouldn't fly because it was too close to the airport. I had to give him my license. I had to give him this. I had to give him that. It took me and my friend an hour and a half just to get it to fly 15 or 20 feet above the. Yeah, what you're doing is amazing. Keep that up. You're knocking it out of the park. Sounds like things are going pretty good for you. Wondering if you've ever in the past or in the future considered creating passive income, and how have you done it?
Passive income. I have look. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, my mom was an entrepreneur. I grew up seeing my mom running businesses, pharmacy. My dad was an entrepreneur, always been. He had like a huge store of. It was kind of like a Walmart type store where they had a bunch of different things. My big brother, I'm the youngest of four, so I grew up in an environment where I just don't know anything else. Even when I had a corporate job, I had things on the side. Like, I was not happy at the corporate job. And so I've done all kinds of businesses. So I had an e-bike business in that I thought was going to be passive. It failed. So to answer your question, yes, I have had that. I thought I was going to be able to do a drop shipping e-bike business. Turns out drop shipping, I don't think it works anymore. The margins are not there. It's very crowded. It's a very crowded area. So I don't concentrate on having more than one business anymore. I did that before. Now, I wish I knew this 20 years ago, but now I'm only concentrating on one business, only one, not two. And I am full time, 100% of my attention is in that one business. To answer your question, right now, I don't. I've done that before. I mean, even when I was in high school, I did Herbalife. Turned out to be what do you call it? A Ponzi scheme or something like that. That
pyramid
didn't
scam.
a pyramid scheme. I sold cell phones. One time, a hurricane hit. This was in 2005. A big hurricane hit. I had nothing to do. I was just in my apartment. This is crazy. I sold on eBay hurricane air.
Really?
It was, I forgot the name of the hurricane, but I took pictures of myself taking air in a bag from the hurricane, sealing the bag, and I was going to send you that air. I did it as a joke. I was bored. There were radio stations calling me, like, how do you come up with this idea? And
Dude, it's a great idea, though.
like, when you're bored, when you're an entrepreneur, it's
You're
really
never
not a
bored.
job. It's like, it's how you spend your time figuring out how to do business.
How to do something. Do something
Yeah,
productive. Selling air. Selling hurricane air. That's crazy.
I remember like 2 radio stations interviewed me. One newspaper, one little newspaper in the middle of nowhere, did a story about it. I was like, all right. I remember that. That was crazy.
I would have never thought of that again. Well, Alex, listen, thanks a lot for the interview. Appreciate it. Wrapping up, what do you got going on for the next 6 to 12 months? What are you doing new and exciting?
We're in the market now. Like I said, we're growing. We're growing pretty fast. I just hired somebody last week. We're in the market raising capital for our company because we want to bring manufacturing to the U.S. And the reason why it's gonna work is because foreign drones are now illegal. As of last December, any new drone that is not manufactured in the US is not legal. They're not going to get an FAA license. Therefore,
That's
they
actually a
cannot.
brilliant idea. That is
Yeah,
a brilliant idea. Think
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Because China can, I hate to say it, China can spy on us. Anybody can spy on us selling us a drone.
Right. So drone manufacturing, the drone industry in the US is exploding, and drone manufacturing alone, it's just really, really exploding. Just to give you an idea, the government alone between now and middle of 2027, that's only 14 months from now, they have to buy 1,350,000 drones. That's budget that has already been allocated to purchase small drones. That's $4.1 billion. I think we manufactured in the US maybe 50,000. You know what?
Wow.
I'll go out and say 500,000 because there could be things that I
You're
don't know.
10x in it too.
We don't manufacture drones here.
No, we
just
don't
don't.
because it's cheaper in China.
But now with tariffs and everything that the government has done, whether you agree or not, doesn't matter. What matters is the
Well,
truth, the fact.
I agree with it.
What has happened. Manufacturing in the US is now possible. It's now financially possible. It makes sense financially now.
Well, it makes sense because robotics and people running the robots.
Right.
I would try to get into robots when I was in high school. I wish I would have stayed in it.
Yeah. Robotics is exploding. So yeah, that's what we got going on. We're raising capital to bring manufacturing home.
If anybody would like to invest, please give Alex a call. And Alex, do me a favor. If they want to get in touch with you, want to buy your drones, let them know where to go.
XPC.com, XPECE.com. If you want to get in contact with me, Alex at XPC.com. And we'd love to hear from you. I answer every email.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot for being on the show, and thanks for bringing something to the market. I mean, I haven't added in too many creators of products, and it's pretty rare. And you sound exactly like me. I mean, you sound like the same person in a different body. Alex, thanks a lot for being on the show. And for everybody else, thanks for listening. And please like and subscribe to get the channel bigger and better. Have a great day, and thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.